Evening, everyone. Back again. How are you doing, Chris?
I like that. Is that little new bit of intro music?
Yeah, I think Rob's been having a bit of a play, hasn't he? So, yeah,
Very
it's good,
nice.
that, isn't it?
Yeah, very nice
Very
indeed.
duty.
So the polytunnels are getting extremely hot again.
Yeah, I'm not shocked by that.
Yeah, I sort of had a week away where it just rained constantly, and then come back to glorious sunshine, and now sort of moaning about the heat. So yeah, pretty standard British British opinions on weather.
Yeah, it's a bit up and down in here, but hopefully, I think would you a really warm August as well, from everything I've read. So, I mean, I'll take it.
Right, yeah, well, yeah, shouldn't moan, mate, shouldn't moan. So what you been up to, mate?
Not a lot, to be honest. Obviously, we was on holiday last week, so just come back and nicely refreshed, to be fair. It's been good. And then back into it with magazine bits, and we've had some really good responses to the new issue. So I sat down with a pot noodle and read that a bit yesterday and today. So yeah, it's good fun. Really pleased with how that magazine came out this month.
Yeah, really good. Obviously, I know it's a bit of a cross-platform, but if you haven't already, that's available as a back issue now, or subscribe. Really, really good edition, I think, this month, I must admit.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little sort of poor taster there. But yeah, if you're into koi, which I'm guessing if you're watching this, you are, and you're not a subscriber to the magazine, Koi Talk, then get yourself over to the website, and yeah, you get a nice glossy magazine through your door once a month. So yeah, a few bits going on at the farm this week. Well, there's always a few bits, but yeah, quite a lot of selections going on as the fish getting bigger. We have to reduce those numbers in the ponds. So yeah, some interesting fish sort of being released at the moment. So yeah, exciting times to come in the next week or two.
Yeah, it's there's definitely a lot going on at the minute. Some really exciting bits that I've seen Ricky growing on, and I'm excited to see the results of the season. Really, I know the season doesn't really stop in the polytunnel in terms of growing,
Yeah,
but some of it is just absolutely bombing on. As we say pretty much every week, to be fair, but you know it never ceases to surprise you when you see them, does
you
it?
know what? I did think of you the other day because we had a little scoop in the Otsuka pond, and guess what came out?
Don't tell me you sold them.
No, not sold them, mate. No, we were just looking at them, but yeah, Joe's got a bit of a soft spot for Kage Shira Tsuri, and yeah, there's pretty much only one breeder that does them to any degree, and that's Otsuka. We've got a bit of a pond going on at the moment, but they're the type of fish, they look a little bit underwhelming when they're younger because they can look a little
Yeah.
bit sort of cloudy and a bit cluttered. But yeah, once they get going, yeah, they're a bit of a demon, they are. So yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
So what we got up first, buddy?
Yeah, let's go. So let's get into it. So fish number one, or fish A, is this sort of weapon. Nice, that, isn't it? Like, what would you say? A four-step to be that first dan and second dan,
Yeah,
just about breaking out there. It's going to be a four-step. That.
that sashi is going to recede, and then you're left with a four-step Sakai kahaku with nice adome. Then again, Benny style, which just stand out with these fish.
Yeah.
It's been since day one. It's just the nuts. It's just nicely sat in between the eyes there as well. Yeah, nothing not to really like with that, to be honest with you, mate.
Yeah.
See, it's that sort of skin quality a little bit better in the video.
Yeah, it's definitely. You can see it a bit better, especially the Roger quality as well. The nose. And the tail tube, like nothing to dislike about this really. It just needs a bit of time, I'd say. Just to kind of stretch out and a bit of Benny development as it grows, and that sachet.
Tidy little growing fish for me.
100%.
Once that sashi starts to refine a little bit on that second dan, you're going to get a bit more exposure of shiroji there. It's just the pattern's going to come with the body in size, if that makes sense. You know, it's only going to help it in that sense. So yeah, starting bid of 50 quid on this. That's worth 50 quid of anyone's money. So we're looking for £5 increments on these. So yeah, who's going to start us off? Anyone starting us off with 50 quid on this bad boy? Again, one of the standout things with these fish is skin quality.
Yeah.
Time and time again, that skin. I think again, it's probably displayed a bit better in the video. But yeah, it's super little fish, and again, type of fish that moving forward, you just give it time, give it a bit of space. You've seen the genetic side of things, what these fish can do. So yeah, it's just sort of like maintain water quality, feed. If you can get on the back of the season and enjoy a bit of this sort of Indian summer that they're promising us, and, yeah, there's no reason why in the right environment you can't be rocking this up in size before the temperatures start to drop. So yeah, quite a technical little fish in the making. Again, I think size is probably going to be this one's friend, just as that size gives more ground to the Shiroji. It's just going to increase that separation and that identity of the different dans on the fish. A dome, quite a chunky dome at the back, but again, you've got to be mindful of the price point here as well. So yeah, it's we've seen the Sakai genetics time and time again that they just don't seem to fail to deliver. They're just so consistent in the sense of sticking food in them. And, just watch them go.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? It's like we've seen quite a few of these, the Sakai fish now coming through, and not a lot of them I've seen. It's a bit difficult because we've got a lot of Dainichi stuff as well, but there is something a little bit special about these Sakai. I think they've just got a little bit of an edge to me. You know, if you had to ask me between the Sakai and the Dainichi, I think you can tell which one's a Sakai and versus the Dainichi. I know that a lot of people do go for body shape in terms of and bone structure with Dainichi, but there is something about the Benny on Sakai that I tend to lean towards. But yeah, more on the Sankes than the Kahakus. But yeah, I don't know why that is. That's just my input.
Two of the very best, mate.
Yeah, it's really hard to differentiate between the two.
In terms of an operation, you know, Sakai, Dainichi, Momotaro, you know, I think they're probably out there on their own in terms of production, quantity, and quality. That's the thing. So he's scary infrastructure that those guys have got, and their ability just to produce en masse is just There's some big farms in Japan. Don't get me wrong, massive farms in Japan, but in terms of the pinnacle and producing high quality, you know, these are farms that focus on quality over quantity, but they've still got loads of them. So nice little comment from Rich there. Thanks very much, mate. I had lots of sea mist when I was on holiday.
Oh dear, poor Chris.
No, it's nice to get away all the same, mate. So got to spend time with the kids.
Yeah, totally agree.
So looks like Anthony. I've told we've got a little bit of a lag here, which is unfortunate, but we'll deal with it as always. So we're sat at 80 quid at the moment with Anthony. Fancy carp. If you're still in, buddy, if you could let us know. I think at 80 quid. Looking at this fish with the sort of mindset that I've got for it moving forward, and knowing like what could be achieved with this lineage, it's probably a pretty sound investment, that one. So Fancy Carp is out, no problem. Thank you for letting us know, buddy. So we'll do the formalities, but it looks like unless anyone else comes to the table, this one's going to Anthony. Great little fish for that sort of price. So we're at £80 currently. So £80 going once, going twice. Sold. 80 quid. Yeah, I think that's a
Nice.
little rocket for that
Yeah,
sort of
for
price
that money. Well done.
Happy days. What we got next?
So me and you really liked this one, didn't we?
So I know what everyone's going to say. It's got a chunk missing out of its fin. That don't bother me, and that is
Yeah.
reflected in the price. That is sort of a superficial issue. It's not. There's no chance of a wound or anything per se. But I just kept looking at this fish in the pond, and when you lock onto a fish, I got it out, bowled it, and it was only when it was in the bowl that I think we noticed that it had a little nick out the fin. I think we both looked at it and we were like, "That's such a nice fish." That is, a super Sankey in the making. Great body line. This sort of Sumi style is really going to come on leaps and bounds moving forward. There you see it in the video there.
Yeah.
I could picture this fish as sort of Sansai, and
Absolutely textbook Sankey, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people quite like this sort of heavier Sumi style these days as well. Obviously, you've got that Tajima and the fins as well. So yeah, the slight nick in the pectoral fin for me, it doesn't even register with me because I know that stuff like that is going to grow back in the right environment. It's not, I don't have any hesitation in saying that. Even warm water, that'll probably be done within a couple of months.
Yeah.
So close to the edge of the fin. So yeah, super little fish, lots of potential moving forward. That little Dan at the back of the fish, he's quite key for the harmony of the pattern as well. It's a little bit understated at the moment, but it's just little things like that have a big impact. Without that, then perhaps you could argue that the harmony of the Benny pattern is quite lessened without that. But just that nice feature, that intricacy of the Benny pattern as well. So yeah, super little fish.
Yeah. What probably one of the picks of the auction for me in terms of being able to get a bargain on something like this. I think the nick in the fin, it's not even a consideration for me.
No, it's interesting. I haven't been in retail for quite a while though. It can be quite, and I do get it because it'd be lying if you said that you could guarantee 100%. But I've seen so many times stuff like that is just purely superficial. So it is an opportunity for someone to nick something and develop something moving forward that's quite tidy. To be fair, it's just whether you can tolerate that nick in the fin right now. For me, yeah, like I said, it's not an issue. But yeah, I can appreciate if some people look at that first. But yeah,
I love
we'd be candid and open about it.
Yeah, we can only be honest, can't we? The key word on this is probably the feature for me in terms of how it kind of goes round towards on that first Dan. It kind of swings back around to the dorsal. It's lovely, and then on the other side, it's quite intricate, and I think that'll be even more pronounced as the fish grows out. The Benny quality is really good as well. I just don't know whether or not the Sumi is going to continue to grow out, or if it'll almost retract as it grows bigger.
Well, I think
I'd be fine with both, to be fair.
I'm going to do my hand movement now. When it does that,
yeah,
you're going to get that what do we call it? That sort of bordering of Shiroji. So I think it's going to, even if the Sumi does come on a little bit stronger, it's going to be balanced with more white ground being exposed. So yeah, in that sense, I don't think. I think again, they're the type of fish that size is probably going to benefit them pattern wise.
Yeah,
which is always a nice. It's always a nice position to be in because sometimes you get very attractive, young, pretty tosai, and as you know, a lot of you watching will know they don't always make the best bigger fish.
Yeah,
but fish like this, it's fairly readable, isn't it?
Yeah, I totally agree. And it gives you an opportunity to pick up a really high quality Sanke from Sakai at, a reasonable price as well. And, you can't sniff at that, to be fair. Sometimes we forget the amount of times we've done Sakai Sanke on these auctions or Sakai kahaku, but, it's nice to be able to pick up fish at
I
this
mean, it's
value.
probably, access as well, mate, is
Yeah.
difficult. I could probably think of maybe less than a handful of dealers that are actively dealing with Sakai, tosai in the UK.
Hmm.
If that, you probably have a better grasp of it than I do, Joe. But yeah, I probably would say that's not too far.
Mm.
Maybe in terms of directly importing, 2, maybe 3
Oh,
people.
yeah, not a lot directly
Yeah.
importing for sure.
So yeah, getting access to these fish can be all part of the challenge as well. So yeah, looks like we've got a few people involved in this one. Currently with Anthony at 105, so we're looking for 110 to keep this one alive, or if you want to nudge it up a little bit to try and walk away with it. It's nice to see that a lot of people haven't been put off by that little nick in the fin, because I did wonder, obviously being on the industry side of things and being on the hobby side of things, sometimes you get a bit of a, I don't know, I've been accused of being a bit sort of blasé with stuff like that, and it's only because I've got full confidence in it. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
wouldn't, if this fish was sort of like mega money, then I would take that into consideration for sure.
Yeah.
But I think at these price points, it still represents pretty damn good value. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's only like other things. I've seen fish at Koi Wholesale where there's occasionally been a split right down to the knuckle or something
Yeah,
like that, where we've said that's probably, that's been hit, and usually they're heavily discounted for that
yeah, yeah,
reason. Or if they're leading rare, the pecs, come away or something
yeah.
like that. Whereas this is something minute, really, isn't it? To
It's
us.
Yeah, it's for me. It's a bit of a keeper, really. Obviously, I know it won't be now because it's going home to someone. But yeah, it's got those sort of qualities and attributes that wouldn't look out of place. If it was put in a growing pond for sort of up to sort of 40, 45 cm, which, as you've probably seen in that last selection that we did, has been pretty rapidly achieved in those ponds. It's nuts.
Yeah, it's bonkers.
So looks like we've got 2 people involved in this one. So Tom's Pond currently winning at 110. So we're looking for 115 or a little bit more to wrap this one up, guys. We've got a few more fish to get through tonight.
Yeah, really nice fish, that.
Yeah, super skin, super pigment. I think that sometimes that can be overlooked as well with young fish. Okay, the Sumi's still developing with this fish, but Shiroji, very good. Benny, very good. The Sumi that is up, very good. And that's a good indicator of moving forward. For the rest of the fish, Sumi, you can pretty much stick your house on it with these types of fish. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So, unless Anthony comes forward, it looks like Tom's going to take this one for 110. So, yeah, hopefully everyone's up to date with us. So, we'll just do the formalities. We've got Tom's Pond, £110, going once, going twice. Anthony out, no problem. Sold. Tom's Pond, 110
Well
quid.
done.
Yeah, I think you'll be happy with that one, buddy.
Fish number C. Number C.
Good England.
Yeah. This one a little bit different to the first one. This one I think is probably, I guess, not one for the purists in terms of it's got the red eye. It's got a big, gap of Shiroji on it, but it's got similar qualities in terms of the Benny and the Shiroji as well.
Yeah, I think again, I probably sound like a broken record tonight. It's got that sort of big fish, simplistic sort of pattern on it, which maybe is a bit wasted on smaller fish. I must admit, one of my all-time favorite fish, kahaku from Sakai, GC in 2015, I believe. It had one Benny plate on it that covered about 60-70% of the fish's body.
Wow.
And there was not one deviation in pigment for that whole process. So I think actually having one very big dominant Dan can work in a way. I'm not saying by any means that this is going to be a champion of anything, but what I'm sort of saying is it's from the same farm. It's got the same sort of style, that big Benny plate at the front. Yeah, it's nice pond fish for this sort of price point, mate, in all honesty with you.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
And you've got those genetics as well to achieve a half decent size, good skin again as well. It's something that will never let you down, or I say never say never, but something that consistently doesn't let us down at the moment. He's this sort of skin attribute from the farm and the depth of Benny. See it in that video a little bit better there.
Yeah, the Benny and Shiroji qualities on this, I don't think are up for debate. I think it's just going to be, a bit more of a wait and see with this one in terms of, obviously it's showing that it's got a bit of the body at the minute as well. Nice broad head. I'd like to see this as a grown fish. Maybe Nisai Sanzai.
I think you're going to get a little bit more of a powerful fish at the front. You see, like even between the Sanke previously was the same size as this, but they've got a different sort of body attribute. Previous one had like a real textbook body line. This one is a little bit more heavy across the shoulders, so you're going to get a bit more of that aggressive sort of style body at a younger age. Which, but a lot of people, it seems to split opinion, that one.
No, that's true.
Doesn't look like anyone's feeling the love for this one, mate. So we'll run the video one more time.
Yeah.
And we'll move on.
Oh, got Eddie in at 50.
Fair play. Just been told we have got a bit of a lag again. One of the things, buddy, isn't it? Not a lot we can do about that. Did Leeds play last night?
No, they're on to Friday.
Oh, wow.
Amanda in at 60.
I think this might be where the lag is kicking in a little bit, Joe.
Yeah, possibly so. I can also see we're less numbers tonight than we were a couple of weeks ago, probably because we took a break last week.
People on holiday as well, mate.
Yeah, possibly.
Time of the year, isn't it? So we're with Amanda at the moment at 60 quid. So any advances, we're looking for 65. Dave Gardner saying evening. How are we doing, Dave? We're going to be on the hunt for a Benny Goy for Dave at some stage. So yeah, watch this space. So we're with Amanda at the moment at 60 quid. Eddie, if you're still with us, let us know. If not, I'll look to call it at the end of this video.
Marcus. How you doing, Marcus?
So we've got, I think comment there from Gary. I think the lag, I think it varies from laptop to laptop, doesn't it? I think what's rapid for someone is slow for someone else. It's a tricky one, Gary, unfortunately. We are working on a platform behind the scenes, but I think it's going to be a little bit longer until we're up and running with that one.
Yeah, these things don't happen overnight. Got 3 people in at the minute. Kevin Ring was also bidding. Marcus and Amanda.
Big shout out to the girls as well.
I know they did well, didn't they?
Is it coming home? I think it might be. I have said this for a while.
There you go. Paul saying his Sakai kahaku blowing the Danichi kahaku away.
Wow, that's a statement, isn't it?
That is a statement, yeah.
Strictly professional, Tom. I'm not sure what you're referring to there, my friend.
Oh dear.
So we're currently sat at 75 at the moment. Any advances on 75? Yeah, pretty much, Gary. I think it's just one of those things, isn't it? So I know when I'm up north, well, when I'm at Laneham at the farm, the internet is pretty dreadful up there. So yeah, I don't know. Is it a northern thing, Joe?
Could well be.
Do the hamsters get tired in the evening?
Yeah, they
Spinning
do.
the
To be
internet
fair,
wheel?
yeah. Put
Yeah.
some coal on the burner and.
Fair enough. So Amanda, if you're still involved, if you could let us know. If not, Marcus is taking this one.
Yeah. Be a nice fish to see how it develops, to be fair, this one.
It's got a degree of simplicity to it. And sometimes I like intricacy, but then again, also, just sometimes on a bigger fish, just having those sort of big, bold downs of colour, they just don't look out of place either, mate. So
no, totally agree.
So Amanda back in on this one. Currently sat at 80.
Yeah, that's true. Looks like Crafty could be stuck in traffic. Well, I think he took about 80% of the fish last time me and Chris were on, Crafty, so...
Probably dossing off, mate, somewhere.
You said that, not me. Marcus back in at 85. Marcus has had quite a few fish off of us before. Kevin Ring in at 90. Tell you what, I'm looking forward to the koi show at the end of this month. Some nice hot weather, be nice.
So I'm contemplating whether so this is quite ironic. There's obviously the Great British Koi Show is in Newark. Randomly, I'm the best man for a stag of 32 blokes. My best mate coming back from Australia. He's been there for 3 years. The only place I could find that would take 32 reprobates was in Newark, and it's the same weekend that the show is on in Newark. So I'm sort of thinking, do I rock up with the stag? 32 rowdy blokes. I think people will end up in the koi vats. That's the problem, mate.
Oh dear.
Mate, he's an important part of anyone's job. Got to look the part. So I think we'll draw a line under this one, shall we, mate?
Yeah, I think Amanda's out. Kevin, if you want to respond. But yeah, we should move on. We've got a few others tonight.
I tell you what, as well, just on a side note, that article that you did about the insect meal with Dr. David Paul.
How fascinating is that?
Yeah, I am.
Are you a convert?
No, I was never not a convert. I want to find a sustainable way for everything in life.
Mm.
But when it comes to koi, I don't want to compromise either.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit. Yeah, I'm sort of contradicting myself a little bit there, but I think it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah,
For
totally.
Sure. But yeah, moving back to this one, looks like this one's Marcus.
Yeah.
Kevin's out, so yeah, we'll draw a line under this one, buddy.
Yeah, fab. Well done. What we got next? Another kahaku. Oh yeah, I do remember this one. This one was nice. Let me play the video. Yeah, look at that. Stunning. I think this one's going to be a 3-step as well, or it could be. Oh no. A 4-step, sorry.
I'd have to take a little look, mate. I think by the looks of it, if that's just sashi, it's hard to tell in that picture because it's a bit.
Yeah.
Sprayed. But yeah, you could well be right, mate. Nice bit of a dome towards the back of the fish as well, which is always a nice touch. A little bit of shine on the shiroji as well.
I was just about to say that. Yeah, it's kind of got that almost like what we call Takano Gin. It's kind of got that element to it. Just skin quality on this one compared to the others.
Yeah.
And if it holds that into later life, I think this one really is probably the best of the bunch so far.
I think
yeah, just everything nice.
Moving through the gears size-wise, I mean, they're all of the similar. They're pretty much all cock on, aren't they? 19 and 20 cm, the last 3 or 4 fish.
Yeah, pretty much.
So it's been fairly consistent in terms of growth capabilities of all of them. We've got sort of like one of those fish that it's still got quite a lot to do, isn't it?
Yeah.
Kahaku wise, sometimes what you see is you just got to work on the body, but I think there's quite a lot of intricacies still to be achieved with this fish, which, yeah, if that does break between the first and the second dam, which again, I'd have to see the fish in the flesh, but looks like sashi to me, mate. So I would expect that to push and open up.
Yeah, from memory, I think.
Video.
Yeah, I think from memory, I think this one is. But the big thing for me was like the size of the mouth and the head on this one compared to the others. I just thought, even though this were probably the smallest of the bunch that we've got tonight of these, I think we've got 5 tonight of these smaller ones. This one stood out to me as having the best potential in terms of growth, and just because I don't know, the head size rather than anything else, and the mouth, and yeah, I just thought it was probably best balance in terms of pattern as well.
Well, it's got nice harmony in the pattern, isn't it? And again, there's scope moving forward for it to develop. Yeah, pretty tidy body line as well. Yeah, good head structure. Yeah, there's not a lot to not like about it really at these sort of price points. So yeah.
So we've got 3 people currently in: Tom, Dave, Eddie. If you want to let us know where you're at, guys, with this one.
BSF, what's that, Joe?
Yeah, I've not heard of that. Black soldier fly, maybe?
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Is that just the larvae, Richard, as well?
No, let us know, Rich. But yeah, it's I think much like fish meal, there's different degree. When you read the article, you'll get a bit more of a feel for the sort of attributes of insect meal. I think someone's got. I think needs something for sustainability wise, but I don't think people want to compromise. Therein lies a bit of the problem. It's like having a really finely tuned sort of Ferrari and then putting in like fuel that you know is not good for your car. Not quite the same analogy, but do you know what I mean? That's people's perceptions of it. So yeah, good one to look at. Good article, I thought, mate.
Yeah, well, I'm pleased to say he's going to. David, I've had another good conversation with him about koi and how they transfer colour food into pigment, and I found that quite interesting
Yeah,
as
I'm
well.
fascinated.
So yeah, it's nice to get the mind through of like somebody who's into the science rather than the hobby side of it, because David don't keep
definitely.
fish, and he's just studied the science side of it.
Yeah, 100%. So looks like Eddie's going to take this one. Not bad, 70 odd quid.
No, not all.
So we'll do the formalities on this one. So currently with Eddie at 70, going once, going twice.
Give him in at 80.
80 there. Right at the death.
Just give Eddie some time to see if he wants to respond. So Richard's feeding the larvae, he says.
Yeah, okay.
I think the larvae. Yeah, I don't want to say anything that's going to turn out to be wrong, but I feel like there's a certain amount of waste just in the larvae rather than the black soldier fly meal that they use.
Right, okay. Yeah. So makes sense, mate. Yeah. So Eddie has been told off. Fair enough, buddy. Fair enough. It's not worth it. So yeah, with Kevin on this one, going once, going twice, sold.
Well done, Kevin. What a purchase that is.
Yeah.
The last of the smaller fish tonight, this one. Sakai Sanke.
Yeah. Straight away, you're sort of looking at that pigment, aren't you?
Yeah.
Big head as well.
Yeah, big head. This kind of reminds me, do you remember the jumbo champion we had from our Takano grow out thing that we did? It reminds me a lot of what that looks like at young age.
Sort of esque, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that was also a crazy pattern as well.
Yeah, big what we call kata zumi, which is just like this shoulder sumi that sits behind the head. And yeah, look at the quality of that sumi as well on a young fish. So that gives me quite a lot of confidence moving forward that the sumi that's formed, after that first dan is going to be pretty wild as well.
Yeah, I'm almost happy with the amount of sumi there is on the Benny. I'm just looking for a bit of Subo sumi on the Shiroji with this one.
Yeah, I think the thing is, like Kazano sumi, which is sumi sat on red skin. Obviously, Subo being the preferred style, but only because typically it looks better. But Kasane Sumi, if it's still really good quality, still holds a lot of. I think it's just the Subo Sumi. You get that impression, that balance a little bit more, don't you?
Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, and I guess the one thing that I was told about Subo Sumi is the bred to have Subo Sumi. Like that's what they try to breed into them. So I think it's harder to achieve just Subo Sumi, to keep the Sumi off the Benny, because another thing I've always been told is that Sumi comes up quicker on the Benny. It seems to come up through the skin quicker.
Well, I think
and I don't know.
it definitely seems to be more formed, doesn't it, at a younger age across the board?
Yeah. So I don't know. It's one of them fish. This one I can just see again. This one being quite a big koi. Similarly with the last one, this one just because of if you look at the thickness of the tail tube and the thickness of the body throughout. To be fair, it's even broader than the head at a young age. That's fairly uncommon for the body.
Well,
to be
looking at
broader
that,
than the head.
it's 1 centimeter bigger than the other 4. but the
Yeah.
body style, just even on a small fish, the body mass looks a lot bigger already.
Yeah. It's one of them, it gives more of an impression that it's probably 23, 24, just because of the body shape. You know, there's been fish, where we've selected them out and we've had them as dead certs as being the biggest, but when you actually measure them, it's more the impression the koi gives of length and power. And that's I think one of these fish, this one.
I think the thing is, a lot of fish can race up in size. It's quite easy to sort of get fish up to 30, 35, 40 cm, but it's maintaining or improving the body mass as they grow.
Yeah.
That's where they fall behind a little bit, because it's hard to get a fish up to 30, 40 and then go, right, I want it to bulk up, because obviously at that point the skeletal structure of the fish is maybe akin to a slimmer fish at that point, because it's not been growing at that rate the whole time. That's where you can pick a fish with all the attributes that you want, but you've got to do justice to the fish. So yeah, interesting talk. So Marcus is out, so it looks like this one's going to my main man in Cornwall, Richard. Hope you're enjoying the weather.
Gritted teeth.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll do the formalities. Going once, going twice. Goes to Richard for 100 quid. Happy days.
Wow. Very nice. On to the bigger stuff now. And a guaranteed female nissan.
So Akawa, bit of a go-to Shiro Tsuri breeder for us. A farm that you can get quite a lot for your money in terms of value and the development of the fish as well. We had a batch that we did particularly well with. Normally, you don't get so many females coming out of these batches of tosai, but this particular batch we did particularly well with. So perhaps on the face of it, slightly underwhelming pattern-wise, but you've got to look a little bit further with this one. Motoguru and the fins, and you see the sumi sat underneath the head there, that menoir. And literally, I would say you probably got to give this fish 9 to sort of 12 months. That sumi is just going to start bolting straight through the head of that fish, and at that point, it changes the dynamics of this fish entirely. So yeah, sort of 100 quid, female Akawa, Nisai, Shiro Tsuri. Yeah, you ain't landing fish like this anywhere near this sort of price point. So yeah, it's nice that we can sort of offer fish out like this. In terms of sort of growing fish like this, we've got a batch of Omasako fish that are just the next size up. So for us, it's sort of like we'd then be growing fish to achieve what we've already got.
I think,
yeah.
With this one, yeah, you gave me a bit of free rein to pick 2 out of the Okawa pond, and this was the one that immediately stood out to me. Like, in terms of with Shiro, the number one thing that I like to go for is really white pigment in the head. I think it makes such a difference in later years for them not to have a yellow head. That being said, I do pick them younger with yellow heads. Like, it doesn't put me off because I think they can change. But this one has got that really nice pigment in the head, and the sumi's just come in, and it's got it in both eyes, and there is a bit on the underside of the head that's up in really good quality as well. And I just think this fish is at 100 quid, an absolute steal. I'm not sure it's ever going to be a humongous fish. I don't think it'll reach maybe 80, 75 centimeters. I don't think it's going to be humongous. But I don't think it needs to be. I think it's going to be a really cool Sansai 45, 50 centimeter fish that's going to be transformed by that sumi pattern on the head.
Yeah, I think 60, 65 is achievable, quite easily.
Yeah.
The skin for me, that Shiroji is ace.
Yeah, it's bonkers.
Do get quite clean Shiro from Akawa. Don't tend to get this sort of secondary popping up left, right, and centre. It seems consistently quite a clean black and white fish, which is always nice.
Yeah, nice. Yeah,
different in that peck as well.
Yeah, sumi quality is good where it is up on the body as well. Yeah, nice fish all around, to be fair.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like Ray or Rachel. I never quite know who I'm talking to when I'm speaking to these guys. We've got Ray and then we've got Rachel as well. So yeah, at 100 quid, I think we're on to a winner with that one. So unless we've got any other takers for this one, we're looking for 105 to keep it alive. Otherwise, this one's going for an absolute snip.
Yeah, well.
Starting to regret not. There we go. Starting to get a bit of regret for not bringing a drink up here, Joe. I'm not gonna lie.
I know my bottle's empty.
It is hotter than the sun up here.
You look like you're in the loft or the attic, or.
Yeah, pretty much, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, heat rises, doesn't it?
They don't have any space down south, so they just build really tall houses. but that means you're closer to the sun. So yeah.
Well, I'm shocked at this one. I have to say, I thought they'd be more interested in this, but there we are. It's the game.
Good news for Ray, though.
Well, I literally said I've picked this, so it's me that's going to get in bother with Ricky in it when it goes for 100 quid.
Yeah, all your fault, mate. Yeah.
I won't be getting to pick any more for the auction now. That's it.
No, it's just the way it goes, mate. These live events. So yeah, good for Ray. Not so good for Joe. So we'll do the formalities. So going once at 100, going twice. Sold 100 quid.
Wow. Oh dear. Well done, Ray.
Bargain.
You've got me in trouble. Anyway, moving on. This one I think is definitely going to have people interested. This, I mean, jumbo tosai, 37 centimeter, Sakai, Tancho Sanke. Come on, people, don't let me down on this one.
Wait, there ain't nothing wrong with this fish for that sort of price point.
No way. Tosai as well, jumbo tosai.
I think the thing is, it's one of those ones when you sort of had exposure to it. Look at that. When you've had exposure to sort of trying to select fish pond side from these farms, honestly, mate, it is hard work. It really is. If you're sort of picking a fish, you just think, I wouldn't mind I don't know, Tancho Sanke. I'll have that one, please. Yeah, forget it. It ain't happening. Or they'll price it in such a way that it will just be on a scale that is just not attainable. So then you get into that sort of momentum of going, right, okay, I've now got a lump on other fish in order to get that fish that I wanted. So yeah.
Don't give him any ideas, Mark.
Is that for the Luton manager?
Honestly.
But sumi's just popping up. I remember this fish when it went into the grow-on pond. Probably around 18 cm, not too long ago, and literally had no sumi on it. If it weren't for the little bit of tajima and the fin, you probably would have been forgiven for thinking it was Tancho kahaku, to be honest with you. That's how stripped back it was. And in the matter of very short amount of time, it's just all come to the surface. So I would probably anticipate quite a wild transformation with this one moving forward.
Yeah, I don't think it's always difficult because, you know, someone might say, "How's that got 200 quid on it? It's hardly got any sumi up on it." It doesn't need to show it just yet. I mean, I purchased a Tancho Sankey out in Japan last year, and I've brought it home, and it was very similar to this, but now it's got 9 or 10 spots of sumi because it's been in cooler water and it's had, my incredibly hard water as well. So yeah, I just think the potential in this is pretty crazy, to be fair. Just not had the conditions, I think, at the in the heat, in the polytunnel,
Yeah.
in the growing pond, to really get that sumi up and finish what it could be. But it's coming.
Yeah, I mean, body style at this sort of age as well, mate. That's sort of one thing you can't get too far away from. That body line of the fish is particularly good. Condition wise of the Shiroji, yeah, I think it's a condition scenario where the fish has been on heat and on food. So now that it's been outside and the water started to cool down a little bit, that Shiroji will just start to recover now. So it's quite common. Again, probably something that we take for granted being on the industry side of things. There you go. You probably see it a little bit better in the video there. See the provenance of that backbone of the fish as well.
Yeah,
that's a grower.
It is, and it's not like the Tancho spot's showing signs that it's going to turn into a Becco either. Like,
yeah,
Tancho's,
yeah,
it's so pure and deep.
I guess that is always a bit of a worry when you're growing Tanchos rapidly. Just will that Benny hold out? So yeah, always a good thing when it's sort of got a bit of stability to it and a bit of depth.
Yeah, I've got mine at the minute. I was thinking, oh my god, the Benny spot's dropping off. It was just a tiny bit of mucus.
Yeah.
I thought it was a hole right in the center of the Tancho spot, but it was just mucus. Anyway.
So no one's got the love for this one, mate.
Again, I'm shocked. I think we had a bid from Stuart at 110, but start bid 200.
Oh right, yeah, fair enough. Yeah,
but I don't think we should let it go for less than 200, to be honest.
No,
and I will be getting the sack.
That'll be going back in the ponds. That one, buddy. Make no mistake about that. That's still quite a valuable piece for us. So yeah.
I mean,
no problem. So
yeah,
we'll move on for this one then, mate.
Wow, that is shocking. But this one is Oya Nisai. We get asked quite a lot if you got any Asagi coming up in these auctions, so nice to oblige some of the requests. 100 quid start point on this one. Kid Ogin starting to form, and I think the video shows it a little bit better. But I think you kind of stumbled across this fish, didn't you?
This is why you always give Asagi from Oya a chance.
Yeah.
I distinctly remember this fish because of that peck. I'm thinking, oh wow, that's a little bit frustrating. Obviously, it's priced accordingly, and it had a little bit of Benny along the dorsal. That's it, nothing else. And I just left it in one of the ponds and just thought I'll just sit on that. And then, went back a couple of months later. I look at it now. You've got this textbook, all the 4 points where you want Benny forming on an Asagi. Forming.
Mm-hmm.
It's nuts. Like, but if you sit on this fish for a bit longer, it's just going to solidify even more.
Yeah, it's coming, and it always tends to come up the body from the examples that I've had. I've grown a few on now. It always tends to start at the pecs and then work its way up the body, and sometimes it comes up quicker in some spots than others. But the fact that it's in the dorsal, to me, is a sign that it's going to come right up the gill plates, because usually the dorsal is the last place it comes up in. and because it's
It's a
so
bit
vivid,
indicative,
yeah, I think it's indicative that it's going to have a really cool gill plate pattern as it grows and develops. And
So
again, 40cm nisai at £100.
So it's just sort of coming on fairly rapidly now as well. So that sort of development process is just going to be sort of probably quite rapid in the next sort of 12 months. But it just seemed to be one Asagi breeder, Asagi in general, to be honest with you. If you get that sort of correct tone, then I would never really rule out that Benny popping up at some stage.
Yeah.
But it's patience. It's probably easy for us to say that when we've got a pond. I think at the time we probably had about 400 or 500 Asagi at about, I don't know, 20 to 30 cm.
Sounds like my type of pond, that.
So we've got like quite a lot of fish to learn and develop and watch and see their progress and look for the traits. But Oya Asagi is something that we've been sat on for years, as long as I can remember. Really, it's a bit of a farm where it's sort of like not got the provenance that perhaps maybe more critically acclaimed than has them being well known, if that makes sense. I think probably a lot of people, when they think Asagi, they probably sort of jump to sort of, I don't know, Otsuka, for example, or Wada. But obviously you've got Oya sat there doing nicely. They do develop a little bit slower, but the trouble is a lot of people want the finished article of Asagi, and they're sometimes or often the ones that don't make the best fish long term.
You can definitely tell the difference between the two. I've done quite a bit of research, like trying to study the difference between Oya and Otsuka and kind of the variables of both. And I definitely, I've never grown on an Otsuka one, so I can't speak to the merits of it. But that Kado Gin is just typical of the skin quality in Oya, and they tend to have like less of a metallicness about them than the Otsuka ones, where the skin on the Otsuka ones tends to be much more white, and I think the Oya ones, they've got much more of like a blue effect across because they don't have that deep white in between each scale in the skin.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're saying there's a generic sort of comment, then yeah, but obviously it varies from fish to fish, sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's I'd probably say Otsuka is more of a grab you sort of thing, more obvious choice for a lot of hobbyists. So I can see why, the guy does amazing. Asagi, there's no doubt about that. But if you are a bit more patient, and if you've got a little bit more of an eye for it, and you're not wanting something immediately, then they are a bit of a dark horse, Oya Asagi. So looks like Martin from Clark's Koi gonna have a stab at this one. I can see why. Martin's had some pretty nice Asagi over the years. I think you might have a bit of a soft spot for him, a bit like yourself, Joe.
Yeah. Nice fish. Again, so, it's not. Oh, we got Eric in at 125. And we've got a bid from Marcus, which I can't read because there we are, 130. Oh. One more fish after this.
I know this is a Koi auction, but did you see that Wolves penalty that wasn't given?
Yeah, I think someone's been doing something dodgy with referees, to be honest.
Yeah, Christ.
They need Manchester United in a title race, though, don't they? Because, I don't know, they just feel like it's a necessary thing to happen. It's like back in day when, before Jurgen Klopp started calling them out on getting 60 penalties a year or whatever it was, stupid amount. So... or
Yeah, I think
30 time.
Arsenal are going to need a bit of competition now. So yeah,
Yeah.
now that well, you see our new signing is out for the season.
Oh god, yeah, that left back.
Fantastic.
He looked good as
Yeah,
well, didn't
I know. Yeah, for all 40 minutes that he played.
he? Steve's out. Marcus 145. Anyone else in? Play the video again. Oh, Eric back in at 150. Marcus, if you want to let us know if he's still in, mate. Marcus back in 155. Yeah, I'm excited for next week's auction as well after we just had a look at what we've got coming up next week.
Yeah, it's an interesting time at the farm at the moment because the people didn't catch me at the beginning. The fish are absolutely rocking now, growth-wise, and what that means is with each passing week, we have to adjust the feeding regime. With each passing week, the fish get bigger. And obviously, the more bigger fish you have in a pond, the more adjustments you have to make, and eventually you hit that point where, because the water is relatively soft up at the farm, the process of breaking down the food constantly, carbon dioxide that's released, etc., the KH gets exhausted quite quickly. So it's a constant battle trying to actually keep KH in the water and retain those building blocks that maintain the rest of the biological processes in the pond. So bit of a nuts problem to have, really, but it is a problem nonetheless. That's why in Japan, obviously, when ponds are heavily stocked or being rammed with food, they'll stick oyster shells in or something that will leach hardness into the water. Trouble we've got, the way the systems are set up, it's not the easiest to do that. There's limiting factors that are at play with the setups that we've got. So yeah, it's a constant sort of 7-day-a-week process, really, of just sort of keeping an eye on systems. Making sure that everything, once that KH starts to drop, you see the behaviour in the fish change straight away. You've probably seen it, Joe, when you walk in and you're sort of like, "Whoa, what's up with them?"
Yeah.
So it's just a constant monitoring process and adjustment. And obviously at that point where the KH gets exhausted extremely quickly, other than constant water changes, which we're not a fan of, as a lot of you will know, you will want to reduce stock, basically. So
yeah,
that's what's happening this time of year. So we're constantly removing fish that we physically can't keep growing in the same pond. No different to Japan in that sense.
no, that's true. Some fish I know that he'd like to keep hold of as well, to be fair.
Always, trouble is, every fish that we kept to grow, we've got there's something about the fish that we like.
Yeah.
What do you recommend if you're struggling to get coached out? My plans out of tap. What's that? So, little comment there by Cameron. What do you recommend if you're struggling to get your cage down? Mine comes out of the tap at 8.4. The trouble that you've got, Cameron, is I would rather a stable KH reading than a fluctuating one. So if it's coming out of your tap and that's your source, it's not too bad. I mean, try being where I live. I think I said to you, Joe, it was sort of reading about 14 not too long ago, which is nuts. But I mean, the fish, okay, some people would argue it's not idyllic, but I would rather have a consistently slightly elevated level of KH or pH than having a fluctuating one. So, I wouldn't be too stressed, to be honest with you. At sort of 8.4. What does yours come out at, your neck of the woods, Joe?
Depends on which way the wind's blowing, to be fair. But yeah, it's about 6. But I use my tap water to buffer my KH, so I
Yeah.
like to run it at like 3 or 4. So when it gets down to 3, I'll do a trickle and refresh the water, and that's essentially how I run mine, because I don't like running it too hard. I have to admit, 8.4 would be too hard for me.
Mm.
In my
It's like,
mind, I don't know if there's any logic to that.
well, I think there's horses for courses, isn't there? And this is the thing with water. There's a lot of variables. Also, seeing a few people saying there, like Richard saying KH of 1, which is pretty nuts.
Yeah, that's mad. Mad.
So just in a short spans of, UK is not a particularly big place. You can have huge swings from sort of county to county. So it's hard to sort of do a one rule fits all sort of thing. So
Yeah.
Andrew Suckling. I probably want to be double checking those values, Andrew. Stability is the key for KH and PH. That would be my sort of closing comment on it. So back to the auction, buddy. Sorry, Marcus, we've gone off on a tangent there, but looks like you're out on your own with this one now. So we'll do the formalities and move on to the last fish. Did you say, Joe?
Yep, last fish.
So we're currently at 175. Going once. Oh, Eric, back in there. Oh, Andrew, that's tap water. Sorry, buddy. Yeah, no problem. Wow, a lot of people got some really. I think I need a bit of your softness and you need a bit of my hardness by the sound.
Yeah. It's a thing a lot of people in Scotland struggle with as well. They get really soft water. They have to be dosing with bicarb like every couple of days.
So Colin lives not a million miles away from me, and people sort of said to me, like, why am I so anti trickle in, trickle out? Because in where I live, we're quite a densely populated area. I just think they trash the water completely. And obviously, when you're trickling it into the ponds constantly, you can't really gauge what's going into the pond. Okay, you can put a dechlor unit in line, but what percentage of everything is it removing? Probably taking no heavy metals out if you've just got a standard off-the-shelf cartridge. So, interesting comment there. Wow.
Yeah, there was the Pontefract water. I was speaking with Andy Finch, there's somebody up the road who's just had to go on our road because reverse osmosis because of the metals in the water. But he's also said that every Sunday religiously he would get a huge dump of chlorine on a Sunday.
Yeah.
And 3 Big Blues wouldn't strip the chlorine out of the water. And it happened religiously every Sunday. I'd see chlorine, and I think there's somebody at Yorkshire Water like dosing the chlorine into the tap water in one big dump rather than trickling the chlorine in at the same time. So there's certain things like you don't see that. You have to be really wary when you're trickling what changes the waterboard are making, because sometimes you won't be able to pick up on them type of things.
It is a minefield, isn't it? Because I think people become extremely reliant on water changes.
Yeah, they do.
Can see the logic behind it, but I just think with the increase in heavy metal issues that we're having in tap water, it's just it's a conversation for another day. But I think it is actually a bit of a sleeping giant. It's causing a lot of people a lot of problems.
Yeah.
I was speaking to a marine biologist, and she was saying, like, do you know what the number one immunosuppression problem is with freshwater fish? And I sort of went, I don't know, you know what I mean? I just started rattling water quality, blah, blah, blah. She just said heavy metals.
Yeah.
It suppresses the immune system to such a degree that fish are just in a state of flux. They can't even like a bout of flukes could be the beginning of something quite serious, sort of thing, because they can't combat it. So
yeah.
yeah, another comment from Martin there at Clark's. Oh, sorry, clicked on the wrong one there. There's a really interesting documentary as well called Flint on Netflix. I don't know whether you've seen it.
No.
And it's all about water. I know I'm going off subject here a little bit, but that was basically water consumption for humans. So imagine the consideration for fish is 0.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, funny enough, I think when I used to work at the shop, a lot of the lads used to say the water quality is better during the week.
Ah, there you go. Perhaps that's what's happening in Pontefract.
I think it's all that copper in your pond, mate.
I know. Yeah. I might see if I can sell it for scrap metal.
Yeah, I told you,
Copper.
don't use 4-inch copper pipes.
Now, to be fair, I've had endless fluke issues, and
I
when
know.
Andy came round, he told me that my copper was over the limit of what it should be, and I wonder if that's one of the reasons why fluke kept coming back and back and back, and I kept treating and treating.
I think it plays a big. It goes hand in hand, I think, mate. But the
Yeah.
trouble is, who checks for copper?
Well, that's the thing. Do I spend 100 and odd quid on a
Exactly. Yeah.
pocket checker?
Yeah. But then that's one element of it. What about other heavy metal? It just gets to a point where if you don't know what's going in your pond, stop it.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at with it, because I've just seen time and time again. It's like Colin just said there, he's reduced his trickle and the fish have changed behaviour. That's a lot of my go-to responses to a lot of people that get in touch with me.
Yeah.
Oh, my fish are sulking, they're not feeding, I'm scraping them, they're clean as a whistle. Water parameters are fine, ammonia, nitrite, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay, we've got a trickle in. Yeah, right, stop it.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got a big blue. Yeah, how old is it? Oh, 4 years. You know what I mean? Like, it's probably doing nothing. Ah, interesting. Sort of turned into a bit of a question time tonight, hasn't it?
Yeah. It's interesting to get people's, opinions on it.
I am a bit of a stickler for it though. Like, I am sort of like, I got a one-man crusade against sort of like tap water.
No, I'm with you.
But I am a big advocate of sort of trying to reduce it where you can, because I just don't think you can trust it.
So here's a question for you then. If you were running a drum filter on a pond, I know you might say, well, I wouldn't run a drum, but if you were,
No,
would
yeah,
you have?
I've run drums many a time.
But if you were, would you, for the pressure pump cleaner, would you take it from the clean side of the pond, or would you run it from a siphon with tap water?
So I've done both. The one that worked best for me is running it from a reservoir
Yeah.
that was fed from a tap. Two things. You've not got water going directly into the pond constantly.
Yeah.
You then don't have this constant fluctuating level of, the sensors get sensitive over time.
Yeah.
So where your water's going up and down, you haven't got to rely on an auto top up, because they constantly break. I'm yet to find one that doesn't. Yeah, I had one from not a cheap one either. I had 3 of them go, and they just come back and said the water pressure must be too high. I
Right.
was like, right, okay, that's a new one on me. So,
Yeah.
and also the water from the mains keeps that biofilm marginally off the screens for longer.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
So yeah, just my take on it. I could totally see why, like the Oaza drum. I mean, it's so tidy and compact. You know what I mean? I could totally see the appeal for them. 100%. I've used Oaza drums time and time again, but that is a consideration having that sort of top up. If you're going from scratch and you've got one of those flushing pumps that sits externally,
Yeah.
which is what you're referring to, yeah.
Yeah.
Then feeding it from a header tank, I would be an advocate for that.
Of that. Yeah, that's
A little bit
interesting.
trickier to set up, isn't it? But it's
Yeah.
not too difficult on the grand scheme of things. I mean, the one that I did, I had a little reservoir and just teed it off with a bit of inch pipe work and just had like a bull stopcock valve.
Yeah.
So it only held like maybe 50 litres of tap water.
Yeah.
So even if the bullcock failed, it would still have several days worth of flushing in there before anything went wrong. The only thing
Yeah.
you have got to keep in mind is that in the winter, if you're not heated,
Yeah.
you've got to keep an eye on that. That's another
That's
thing to consider.
I'm run on that exact same system you've just mentioned on a siphon.
Yeah.
And mine froze over and my pump ran dry for what I
Yeah.
approximately think was about 3 hours. And they're
Yeah.
about 400 quid, them pressure pumps. They're not cheap.
Well, I probably shouldn't say this, but you can. You don't have to use the exact. You need the spec needs to be the same.
Right. What in terms of pressure? But you don't need the drum branded one. No comment.
Yeah.
Didn't
I'll
ask you that question.
talk to you tomorrow, mate, about that. So we have sort of gone way off topic here.
I know Eric and Marcus are just bidding away in the
Got a
background.
real nice little duel going on in the background here.
I
Sorry,
know.
guys.
But we've probably been on this fish for nearly 20 minutes.
There you go. Wow. So you almost don't. It's sort of like ignorance is bliss, isn't it? But that's the reality of things. Wow. So we're currently with Eric at 260, back to 265.
We got Fiona asking for the video. Is she interested? I'm massive fan of this fish, to be fair.
I just think it's a little bit of a dark horse, isn't it? It's probably like for the people that are sort of looking for something a little bit more obvious, it might not tick the boxes, but for people that can sort of have a bit of vision and read what it might achieve, it's an exciting prospect.
There we go. We've done our bit for.
I don't think bottled water is much better, though, is it?
No, I wouldn't have thought so. Somebody told me Harrogate Spa tap water is like tap water from Harrogate. Somebody told me that it's not even from like a or like a reservoir or anything like that, or a natural spring or something. And I can't. Anyway, I'm talking absolute bollocks again. So someone will tell me it is, but somebody told me it's not.
Right. Cheers for that, Joe. Cheers for clearing that up.
Oh, we do get into some weird conversations on here.
Do, mate, yeah. Oh, we had a classic one. So basically, chlorine typically gases off. So a lot of people are like, oh, I just spray it on the pond to a degree, but chloramine and other metals don't. And therein lies the problem. Peckham Spring. You familiar with that, Joe, Del Boy?
No. Before my time, mate.
You make it before you.
I probably weren't born when Only Fools and Horses were on.
What? You're having a laugh.
When did Only Fools? 1981.
To be fair, that was before my time as well. But I got brought up with Only Fools and Horses, mate.
Yeah, when the last episode aired, I was 7 years old.
Wow. When did the last episode air?
2003.
Did it really?
Yeah.
Wow. So it looks like Marcus is just about nudging this one out, buddy. So if we play the
but
video,
we've got
one
another
more
one
time,
after this.
Eric back in.
Shall we give them 2 more video clips to submit final bids?
Yeah.
I quit for the lag. Yeah, just not my sense of humour, Only Fools and Horses, but I have to admit to only watching it in snippets.
Weirdly, I sort of got back into it recently. I think I've been round like my dad's my father-in-law's house a couple of times. It's been on the background. It's been like, they don't make them like that anymore. You know, we've been going off on tangent quite a bit and sort of talking about like, did you see the one where me and Ricky started going on about sweets?
Oh yeah.
And he was like, I'm annoyed that midget gems they've taken the black ones out. Well, I had a customer, Matt, lovely guy, really nice to meet him the other day. He come up and he was like, he sent this whole box of midget gems, a whole box of them.
Wow.
With black ones. And
still includes the licorice gems.
Yeah, so he was like, just to prove to Ricky that they still exist. So, yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant.
And then
well,
Rick couldn't find them yesterday, and he accused me of taking them home with me.
So we've got Marcus said that he's happy for Eric to have this one at 280, Eric. So congratulations on your win with that one, mate. Well done.
Fair play.
And we'll move on to the last fish of the evening. This little dynamite.
Wow.
Nice picture.
Play the video of this one. Oh yeah. Skin on that.
Yeah.
So weirdly, this was a fish that went into the auction a little bit earlier on in the year, and no one came forward to pay for it. So such was the quality of it. I was just like, that's going in again. Like, if anything, it looks better now than it did sort of back then. So that Benny, to give people, I think I always go on about Hoshikin because he's a great guy. He really is. The farm is an exceptional farm. They breed some fantastic fish. The facility is incredible. They just sort of go under the radar a little bit for a lot of people. You know, people always sort of flock to Danichi, Montero, Sakai, and so on. But I really do rate Hoshikin fish very highly. And you can actually achieve quite a lot of fish for your money from this farm. And really ironically, I don't know whether you went there when you went to Japan, Joe, but
No.
it is literally across the road from Danichi.
Yeah.
Like literally, not like down the road. You can literally walk across the road and you walk into Hoshikin from Danichi Koi Farm. So, but worlds apart in terms of price points.
Yeah.
Bigger fish, don't get me wrong, he demands a very high price, mate. Make no mistake about that. He's got some top fish. But in terms of selecting toe size, I mean, you're talking like chalk and cheese, mate. Trying to select tosai at Danichi, forget it. Trying to achieve tosai at Hoshikin, yeah, game on, mate. It's beautiful. I've been there a few times when we've been doing selections there. It's just fascinating. His ethos with fish as well. He just develops this insane Benny style. insane. If you run that video again, you really
you can see that.
it's just nuts, mate. Absolutely
Unreal.
nuts.
Look at the consistency between the head as well.
Yeah. Because that skin is now, because the fish sort of come off heavy feeding, it's obviously the skin's thickened up quite a little bit. So the shiroji, the beni is just getting tighter. Those pigment cells are getting more compacted. You're just getting this absolute glowing beni style. It's just, awesome, mate. And I don't think, in terms of a head pattern, is not the be all and end all, as you will see in the next issue of Koi Talk magazine. I'll do an article.
Oh, you tease.
Little plug there. However, it is a nice little je ne sais quoi, isn't it? It's that nice sort of, when you really like a fish and perhaps that bit of character on the head just tips you.
There's one of the articles, the Reader's Pond, in this art magazine that's just gone out. It goes into detail. Paul, he likes to buy kahaku only on pattern, and if I can just show you a little snippet of this that's a dynamite piece, that. But he's not. He kind of looks at pattern first on kahaku, and I have to admit I am one of them. And sometimes, there's occasions where you need to. I don't know. You have to consider the other elements, and sometimes you get a really cool pattern, but the fish has got a deformity or it's really slender.
Yeah.
But if a fish has got a really crazy pattern, almost similar to this one, I almost don't need to look at anything else. Like, it's nothing's relevant because I'm just looking at the pattern, if that makes sense.
Well, I think when you got skin like this, that is just outrageous.
Yeah.
It's giving me a real sort of
Semi.
we didn't do we didn't do Hoshiki and Kahaku this year because we went a bit nuts with Ichi and Sakai. Well, I think next year it's got to be back on the cards because these fish are absolutely wild. And I think what are we at now? Sort of looking at the comments.
375 with Steve. Oh.
With Martin, yeah. So yeah. Again, I'm sort of thinking I'm pond side at Hoshikin's place. I'm looking for a nissan. What's the size on this?
50.
50 cm. I ain't paying anywhere near this price. Forget it, mate. If it's in his fish house, forget it. And then even if you were lucky enough to get a dog at that sort of price point, you still got to ship it.
Yeah. I think whoever it is that passed up on this fish is going to have a not purchase regret.
Yeah, no doubt they'll probably say, "Oh, I bought that," but yeah, you got to do this little thing called paying.
Yeah.
The annoying bit, I'm afraid. So it looks like Martin's going to nudge away with this one. 375. What a steal!
Yeah, not bad going, that.
Yeah, beautiful fish, mate.
Yeah, awesome fish, that.
So I think that might conclude this evening, mate. Looks like Martin's onto a little gem there. Well, I say little. What did you say? 50 cm.
50 cm Nissan, yeah.
Jesus, yeah, fair play. So yeah, unless anyone else is involved. Oh, Dave. I must admit, I love Martin, but it is worth every penny extra, this one. So see where we go with this. Martin back in with 400. Sitting on my hands big time.
Should I upload what we've got next week so we can do a little preview at the end for next week?
Yeah, feel your boots, mate. Yeah. It's just glowing, mate, isn't it?
Yeah, it's when the shoulders come out of the water at the start, you really see that kind of, I don't know what it is, like a lack of skin quality. It's really
exactly
nice.
what it is. Exactly what Hoshikin Benny is all about, mate.
I think Hutch has just subbed to the magazine from our
Oh,
club.
hey, good man.
Welcome aboard, mate. You won't be disappointed.
Yeah, welcome to the revolution. Seriously though, joking aside, obviously trying to produce this every week, every month is hard work. I mean, look at that. I've got them dotted around all over the place. I've actually, Joe, check this out. I've got an issue 1 here as well.
I think I've got an issue 1 somewhere.
They
as well.
are a rare beast. They are. So yeah, if you sort of like what we do, they are 2 separate companies, Koi Wholesale, Koi Talk, but obviously the team sort of intermixes. That's how we work as a business. So yeah, if you do like it and like what we do, then yeah, please support us because yeah, without subscriptions, hard to keep a magazine running. So yeah.
Which one is which, though, Richard? Come on.
Oh, mate, no offense. There's no way I'm Gary Neville.
Oh God.
Sorry, mate. I'm gonna have to get in there quickly before anyone else says anything. Yeah, I'm very much in the Roy King camp.
Oh, brilliant. Shall we wrap this one up and preview next week?
Yeah, let's go for it. So, going once, going twice. Sold to Martin Clark's Koi. Well done, buddy. Cracking fish. I will try get it out to you for Friday. We'll see.
So what have we got next week? Little Dainichi number there. And then we're going into a nice Benny Kiko.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I liked that one. A single step Dainichi Kahaku. I liked that one. 2-step Dainichi. Doitsu Ochiba.
Deutsch Kagana, yeah.
This one I think is going to be very popular. Jumbo Tosai Chagoi, 35 centimeter.
Wow.
Ginga. Kikasue. Kajaku. Shisue. Ginrin Shiro. Nisai. And a Shiro Beko.
Nice.
There you are. What a spread for next week. Philip has asked if he can buy the Tancho Sanke for 200 quid. I'll.
Yeah, mate. No one else has bid on it, buddy. So yeah, I've not got a problem with that. If you just make a note of that for us.
Yeah.
I must admit, Phil, I think that's a spanking fish for that price. So
Yeah.
fair play.
You've saved me from getting fired, Phil.
More Razor Ruddock. Yeah, thanks. Who's Alex Scott? Wow. I'd like to be doing this with Alex Scott. No offense, Joe.
Oh dear.
Right, we're getting a bit seedy now, aren't we? So, yeah.
I'm Gary Lineker.
Gary Lineker. Right, so should we call that a night, mate?
Yeah.
I can still hear my 1-year-old screaming downstairs, so yeah.
Good fun.
Such is life, mate. So
Right.
I'll catch up with you tomorrow, Joe. And yeah, thanks everyone for supporting us. And see you on the next one.
Tune in next week. Cheers guys. Bye.
Take care. Bye.